Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and today we are going to do another flight featuring the TFDI MD-11 freighter. Now we are currently standing at the really awesome iniBuild's Milwaukee scenery, which is available completely for free. So if you haven't checked it out yet, by all means do check it out. You can grab it for free on the Ini Manager and it's an awesome scenery. Now, let's go ahead and have a look into our MD-11. We're standing here in Milwaukee, as mentioned. We're going to fly down to the FedEx base in Memphis, which is about an hour and 15-minute flight. But don't worry, it's not going to get boring. I will accelerate the cruise a little bit for you so that we will make the flight in a little bit less time. Alright then, let's head into the cockpit, where we are going to get our airplane to power up. Now, in the cockpit, currently it's pretty quiet because, well, the airplane is completely cold and dark, but let's take a seat in the first officer's seat from where we are going to start our pre-flight preparation. So here we are. And then we can go ahead. The logbook is checked, circuit breakers are all in, emergency equipment is checked, the weather radar is off, fuel switches are off, the parking brake is currently released, but we can definitely set that down here. By the way, did you notice how the brake pressure indicator has moved a little bit while the brake has been set? Nice little detail there. So spoiler and flap handles are both up, the landing gear lever is down, the fuel dump and manifold drain switches are guarded, emergency power selector is off. Okay, then we can turn on the battery. And we can turn on the external power over here. So our AC buses are powered, then we can do the engine fire test. Displays are on, perfect.
Engine 1 fire. Engine 2 fire. Engine 3 fire.
Okay, that's the fire test completed. We don't quite need the APU yet, it's 21 degrees outside, but it is rather cloudy, so the airplane shouldn't heat up too quickly. Should be able to do without the APU. So, annunciator light test.
Overspeed. Overspeed.
Is looking good. Don't need air conditioning yet. IRS can come on. And this automatically conducted the cargo fire test. Okay then, so let's go on to the status page, MD-11F, current database, then pre-flight init, and we are going from KMKE towards KMEM. Not in database, what did I mess up? Okay, well, tell you what, we'll do it easy. Import the flight plan. So, Kilo Mike, Kilo Echo. Kilo Mike, Kilo. What am I doing here? Kilo Mike, Kilo Echo. 2 Kilo Mike, Echo Mike. Here we go, that's better. And the coordinates are looking good, so we can initialize the IRS. Okay, so then we can go on with our cockpit test. So, voice recorder test. Looking good. Actually, hydraulics stays in auto. Here's the test switch. The test is going to conduct itself, so I'm not going to interrupt that stuff. If there is any failure, the plane will alert us to it. We haven't refueled yet, so we'll keep the seatbelt sign off for now. And then moving all the way down, this is all looking good. So, TCAS goes into above, and the altitude reporting can already go on. We ain't gonna touch the aileron trim, we did that mistake last time. And here we go. Okay, 1 to 1.5 into the second radio. Awesome. Okay, so that's the setup part that we can do from the FO side done. Let's now move over to the captain's side, from where we are going to do the rest of the system setup, etc. So, An hour and 48. Well, an hour and 25 flight time. That's looking better. Okay, at flight level 360, cost index 10. Well, let's first of all see though what our ACARs can do. Well, let's use the center CDU for that. So, ACARs pre-flight, initialize data. Doesn't work. Weather request maybe? Okay, looks like all that stuff does indeed not work yet. I did enter my hobby code before I started this recording. Unfortunately, it looks like that stuff was not just disabled on my last video because it didn't have the hobby code by that time, but looks like it was actually disabled because it's not implemented yet. Okay, so be it. Well, we can continue with our standard FMS setup then. So we'll continue on FMC number 1, flight init, and our alternate today. Do we have that information anywhere here? Yeah, not really, it seems. Not too much of a problem though, then we are simply going to take it from SimBrief. So our alternate is going to be Cincinnati, Kilo, Charlie, Victor, Golf. And we are FedEx 438. Flight level 360 at cost index 10. Here we go, looking good. So, flight plan. We're departing on runway 19 right. Okay, 6 departure. And we are using the daily transition. Okay. Insert that. And our routing is going to be from Delhi to Papa X-Ray Victor and then onto the Bloss 4 arrival into Memphis. Let's plan the ILS 27 on the Bloss 4 via Papa X-Ray Victor. And I think that's looking good. Well, we can take the grid transition, insert that. Okay, Delhi to Papa X Victor, that is as planned, so we can take that discontinuity out. Awesome. So, secondary, we're going to copy the active. In terms of performance, transition 18,000 is correct. So then, init, next page. Let's go ahead and load the airplane up. Weather is pretty much looking good everywhere, so when we go into the payload tab, then in terms of cargo, we're looking at 83,000 pounds, and in terms of fuel, the fuel for today is going to be 46,000. Okay, so looking good. Set payload. Here we go. So zero fuel weight 374.1. 419.6 versus 420.1. That's good enough for me. 46 block. This is of course minus the taxi fuel. Then the weights do match up exactly. Then we got 27.6 and 27.2. Okay, let's do some takeoff performance over here. Performance calculator, ICAO code KMKE onto 19 right. Here we go. Gather weather, please. 1707 21 3002. And while we're at it, 3002 is going into both altimeters. Here we go. Alright, so takeoff weight. We just said we're at 420. Flex will be used. Flaps optimum, no anti-ice. Okay, calculate. Flaps 25 takeoff. Oh, now let's do specific flap setting here, and we'll go for flaps 10 once again. This is much better. I like that. So flex temperature 59, and it is going to be with the packs off. Well, let's do packs on. See what we get. Same. Okay. So flex temperature 59, packs on, flaps 10. So runway slope is going to be minus 0.3. And the wind, 1707, that's a headwind of 7 knots. So /7. Temperature 21 degrees centigrade, and climb thrust is 2228. That seems 1500 AGL is okay for me. We'll do the acceleration there as well. 2228 into here. Check confirm V-speed. So we got 134, 145, 163. 133, 145, 163. They're within 1 knot, so we can simply accept the speeds from the FMS over here. Okay, thrust limit. We'll use climb 2. Alright, and apart from that, not much to add over here. The rest of it we'll just leave where it is right now. Okay, auto brake should have gone to takeoff early already. And that's it. Okay, let's see then. Engine page says engine ignition not armed. That is intentionally. Electrical generators all off. That is also intentional. Air system pressure low. That is also intentional because we haven't started the APU yet. Okay, status page gives us only the known messages. Miscellaneous, nothing. Okay, that's excellent. So with all of that done, let's go ahead and start up the APU. I just love how easy it is in the MD-11. Press one button and the thing comes up. Okay, so 46,000 pounds are on board, so refueling is finished. Seatbelt signs can go on. APU start is in progress. Then let's go ahead and grab a couple of charts. Why am I not signed in with Navigraph? I just signed in yesterday. That's strange. But okay, just gotta do it myself then. So just give me a second, I'll do that off screen, and accounts linked. Perfect. Here we go, that's better. So KMKE. Find that for me, please. Taxi charts. And what's the SID looking like? Right, that's it. Great. So, finally an easy airport, huh? Alright, are you ready for the departure briefing? So, I don't see any threats for this departure, do you? No? Excellent. For the route check then, we're going from Milwaukee to Memphis, FedEx 438. And the routing is off runway 19 right by the Ukra 6 departure towards Delhi, and then by the Bluff 4 from Papa X Victor for an ILS approach runway 27 over there in Memphis. Alright, and that thing has a ground distance of, where is it? 521 miles, while on the plan it's 521 miles. Perfect. Okay, so fuel remaining 8,000 they say. I don't really think that is accurate. I think we'll have quite a bit more. The predicted en route burn by SimReef is just about 20,600 pounds, so we should have more fuel, but we'll see about it. Now at 21 on the other end side is accurate, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay, excellent. Well then, we are currently parking on the cargo ramp up here. Going to be pushback with a nose to the right hand side, taxi out Alpha 4, Alpha, Echo. We're gonna have to cross 2 runways over here, 31 and 25 right, for a runway 19 right departure. That's the longest runway available here at 10,000 feet. Alright, our departure is going to be the Ukra 6 departure, which we do have on a chart over here. So, initial climb on a side heading for radar vectors to Perfrac, and from there it's going to be towards Uzok above 11,000, And we do have that. On towards Malt above 13,000, Uker above 16,000. And then we proceed via Ladi towards Delhi. And that's it. So, Ladi, Delhi, pretty close to Chicago O'Hare. So chances are there might be a little bit of traffic. But we'll have the... we will have the TCAS running, so that should cover for it. Apart from that, I don't really have anything to add to the briefing. A little bit of setup here, weather radar off, terrain selected on the PM side. So, what do we have? Speed restriction. Turbojet aircraft maintain 250 knots until advised by air traffic control. Okay, we can do that. Let's just see if we can actually select it in the FMS as well. Yeah. Climb speed limit 250/10,000. Let's just make that /20,000 so that the airplane doesn't start to accelerate without our command. That way we can use the FMS speed. Okay, should of course not have armed nav there. Can we reset that somehow? Not sure. Well, doesn't matter. We'll get that stuff running. Okay, think that's mostly it, isn't it? So APU power is available. Put that on, and we'll also put APU bleed on. Get rid of the external power here. So, services. Disconnect ground power, remove chocks, the doors are all closed already. That's just about perfect. Alright. So, that's mostly everything we can do over here. Then let's go ahead with the cockpit preparation checklist. So, SD status page, checked. Hydraulic panel, auto. Fuel panel, auto. Exterior lights, set. Evacuation command. Well, this is a freighter, so not installed. Okay. Oxygen system and mask, checked, set 100%. Takeoff warning system. Okay, let's check it. Yeah, it's working. Perfect. So, takeoff config system is checked. Fuel switches off. Rudder and aileron trim. Well, we are aware of this. We are going to ignore it. So let's just say that they are checked. FMS checked, set. Flap takeoff selector 10. FCP set. IRS. Taxi. And auto brake. Here it is. Takeoff. Cockpit preparation checklist complete. Okay, that was easy. Let's go ahead and select GSX. Prepare for pushback and departure, please. And in the meantime, quick check over here. Let's go into the controls for one moment. And reassign the throttle quadrant. Normally I'm using one thrust lever per engine. However, my hardware is currently set up for a 2 thrust lever position. Obviously we need 3 over here. I just noticed that during the config check, so we still had to change that. Alright, apart from that we're good to go, and I'd say the TUC is hopefully connecting any moment. Yeah, he's coming. Well then, ground from cockpit. Let's do that again. Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. So, please confirm doors and hatches closed, ground equipment is removed, bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain, and we'll be ready to push in a minute. Roger, stand by. So, setting the runway track down here, should be about 190, isn't it? Uh, 191, up here it is. So 191 is selected. Okay. Excellent. So I accidentally armed nav prior to the takeoff. Well, that just tells me we need to manually engage heading select after departure. Apart from that, profile can be armed. The rest is looking good. Altimeter is set. Minimums. Yeah, whatever. Okay, great. I think with that we are mostly done, aren't we? Then let's go ahead with the before start procedure, please. Nose right, please. So, aux hydraulic pump on. Parking brake is set and the beacon light is coming on. And fuel control panel is on automatic. Air control panel is automatic. Before start checklist, please. So, doors, windows, closed, locked. Parking brake set. Beacon on. Engine ignition. B. Fuel panel, auto. Air panel, auto. Before start checklist complete. Run from cockpit. Go ahead. So, pushback is approved for runway 19 right. Parking brake set. Release your parking brake, please. Parking brake is released. Roger, start in bush. And you're clear to start engines at your discretion. Roger. Okay. Then, engine 3 start. %. Fuel coming on. Start a cutout, engine 1 start. Ground cockpit, we've got a good start on 3, starting 1. Roger. Okay, fuel on. Okay, cockpit from ground, the push is complete, set brakes please. Brake set. We've got a good start on 1, starting 2. Clear 2. Engine 2 start. It's still so weird. I've started 2 engines already and then I gotta say engine 2. While I'm starting literally the 3rd engine in a row. Well, so be it. And transponder obviously going on. We're in the United States here. Fuel coming on. Okay, we've got 3 good starts. Your clear disconnect showing the sign on the left side with a pin. Please have a wonderful day. Bye now. Okay, engine Anti-ice is not needed and off. APU. It's also going off. Hydraulic panel is set. Ground equipment and pins. Let's see, we have a signal anywhere yet? Yeah, there he comes. He's surely taking his time. A lot of his time. Okay, clear signal is seen. After start checklist, please. Anti-ice. Off. Air panel. Auto. APU. Let's see. It's off. So, hydraulic panel. Auto. Ground equipment gear pins removed. Cabin report received. After start checklist complete. Okay. Clear on the left side. Clear on the right side. So, taxi is going to be out via Alpha 4, Alpha, Echo, and then we have 2 runways to cross. Okay. Park and brake released. Taxi. So remember, we're sitting quite away in front of the nose wheel here. Except for Concorde, I believe this is one of the aircraft where you are sitting really the furthest in front of the nose wheel. So we got to keep that in mind when we are taxiing here, in order to keep all our wheels actually on the on the paved surfaces. Okay, the right side is clear, the left side is clear, and we can go left on Alpha. Okay, clear of the apron. Taxi procedure then. So, flaps 10, spoilers armed, flight control track. Yeah, that's the wrong page. Config, that's the one we're looking for. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. And the rudder, well, suppose we have to. Full left. Full right. And neutral. Okay, stabilizer trim should be 4.1 up. And that is set. So, clear left side, clear right side. So, one guy on final there, it seems. Okay, so Okay. At least we now know that there is definitely nobody coming on that runway. So, everything is clear, we're clear to cross. Strobe lights on. Okay, let's review the takeoff briefing here. It's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 19 right, flaps 10, noise abatement procedure 2, takeoff speeds 34, 45, 63. Takeoff config is already okay, and for the sit, we continue on the runway heading. We gotta remember to actually pull the heading bug, as we accidentally armed enough and cannot disarm it here. Okay, we gotta remember to pull the heading bug after departure. In case of an engine failure, we climb on the runway track. Altitude 4000 is going to keep us safe, and then we can either come back here or go to Chicago or whatever. Okay, again, clear both sides, clear the cross. Okay, and that's it. Any questions? No? Excellent. So, taxi checklist, please. Flaps, 10, spoilers, armed, flight controls, checked, step trim, 4.1 set, takeoff data, confirmed, taxi checklist complete. Okay, nothing on TCAS, I can't see any traffic, line up. TCAS is on, we don't have a cabin crew to sit down. Looking good. Before takeoff checklist. EAD, checked. High intensity and landing lights, on. Hydraulic panel, auto, air panel, auto. And weather radar and transponder. See, that's why we do these things. Okay. Both on. Before takeoff checklist complete. Are you ready to go? Take off. Auto flight. Takeoff thrust set indications normal. 80 knots. Checked. V1. Rotate. Positive climb. Gear up. Pull heading. Heading 190. Okay, heading 191. So let's do a little bit of hand flying here, because, well, it is a pretty nice airplane to hand fly. Acceleration altitude. Profile. So, flap 0. And turn left, heading 150. And slats retract. No, will not descend. Okay, nicely trimmed out. Flying pretty nicely. Well, in that case, auto flight and after takeoff checklist. So, landing gear and lights. Up, lights out. Air panel. Auto, spoiler handle, disarmed. Auto brake off, flap slats up, retracted, hydraulic panel, auto, fuel panel, auto, EAD, checked, seatbelts on, exterior lights on, altimeter to go. Okay, after takeoff checklist complete, more or less. Let's go direct Ozark over here. Makes our life easier, doesn't it? Okay, Ozark. Nav. And then we can climb all the way to cruise level 360. So, climb thrust 36,000. Passing 10,000. We're just going to keep all the lights and everything on until we're at 18,000. Because VFR traffic in the USA can appear all the way to 18,000. Just beautiful, isn't it? I like it. Well, so lovely rate of climb here, still 3,000 feet a minute. As mentioned, we maintain the speed until advised by air traffic control. Let's say that they just released us from that speed restriction now, so I'm gonna clear that out. And we start accelerating. So, optimum 350, maximum 411. I'd say 360 is a good level then. Accelerating here. Beautiful acceleration. Those three engines really have a lot of power. And it does feel. I wish the A330 was that strong. Well, I suppose if you don't derate the engines, it is, but we always fly completely derated. Takes 35 minutes to get to cruise level. Contrary to this, I wonder how long it's actually going to take for us to get up to cruise. Probably not that long. Okay, temperature plus 13, about to enter some clouds. That's okay. Can we see anything in the front? Oh, not that much. But still a beautiful rate of climb, 2,800 feet a minute here. Set standard. Done a cross-check, passing 18.3 now. Checked. Okay, and that's the after takeoff checklist. Complete. Alright then guys, so I think we're well clear of the Chicago airspace, so let's go direct to the star entry here. Direct Papa X-Ray Victor with the beam points. Nice, the beam points actually work in this plane. Cool. So, 488 miles to run, estimate time for about 1717, that does roundabout make sense. We'll ignore the estimated fuel on board. Well, so with that, we are nicely on the way. I'd say at this point we just speed it up a little bit so that it doesn't get too boring for you guys. and then I see you as we are approaching our destination.
Memphis?
Did anyone say Memphis? Oh yeah, there it is, just outside. So we're reaching the end of our arrival, and we are about to join the vector leg out of Copen over here, and from there we'll receive radar vectors for the ILS approach runway 27 in Memphis. Have about 1,000 feet to descend, so let's go ahead and dial that in. Gonna keep the speed up at 250 over here, I don't want to slow it down yet. And over there from grid we are going to start the approach. So looking into the arrival itself, this is the approach we're going to fly, the ILS runway 27, and we basically arrive at a grid via radar vectors for the ILS approach starting from Grand. Now, in case of missed approach, straight ahead Memphis radial 285 to Gowrie, climbing to 5,000 feet. So as you can see, pretty much easy going over here. MSA wise, we're looking at 3,000 feet in either direction, so that is easy going. Minimums 492 is already selected, and last but not least, we have opted for a flap 35 landing, which comes with a V approach of 153 knots. Now looking at runway 27 itself, if we take a look at the airport chart, you can see it's basically located right at the FedEx ramp, so we can just vacate off to the right, and that's it. Okay then. That's pretty much all there is to say about this. So let's go ahead and turn left heading 210 in order to set course into the direction of grid. And we can also slowly start a descent towards 3,000 feet.
Altitude.
Okay, 250 pitch, heading to 10, idle climb 3,000. Then we can enter direct to grid up here. Even though I'm not going to fly it using LNAV, I will just do radar vectors over here for the entire way in. Okay, FMS target speed 245, then we can go ahead and manage the speed again. So we have about 25 miles to get down to 3,000, should be easy going. Now a couple words on what we just saw en route. You might have seen that the plane had a little bit of a tendency to bank left and right. If you looked at the bottom of the screen, you could see how the control column was constantly going left-right, trying to keep the plane flying straight. Now, I'm pretty sure the real one didn't do it that aggressively, if it had some sort of instability. But what I did notice is that this did not happen as extreme during yesterday's flight at low altitude, so I guess it's somewhat down to, well, the high altitude flight that we did. Apart from that, during the descent we needed quite a bit of speed brake, as you've probably seen when our descent rate increased rapidly there. So from that I do conclude that the drag model of the plane is still work in progress and receiving some updates. Apart from that, everything tends to look pretty good over here. We just started receiving the ILS signal, India Juliet, India Mike, and that is confirmed. Well, and with that we are pretty much all set up. So if we have a look into the descent procedures then, well, the only thing that we really gotta do is set that auto brake, and we're going to use auto brake medium today, and set the dial flap selector, which is gonna go to 15, as flaps 15 can be used on the approach. Okay. So that good stuff is all set. We're already on local QNH. The landing lights have been turned on. And with that we can go ahead and run the descent and approach checklist, please. Landing data, checked set, windshield anti-ice, off, decision height, MDA, 492, seatbelts, on, altimeters, 2998 set cross-checked, both sides. Okay, hydraulic panel, auto, exterior lights, on. And that's the descent and approach checklist complete. So, I'd say we've seen a lot of autopilot by now. Why don't we just go ahead and do a little bit of manual flight here, actually? So, auto thrust off.
Autopilot.
Autopilot off. Okay, autopilot wants to reduce towards 220. We can certainly do that. Temperature is plus 23 already, so we are going to clear. Well, even if we enter those clouds, then it's just going to be water, no ice in there. However, at these temperatures, I would absolutely not be surprised if we did encounter quite a bit of turbulence below these clouds. Okay, speed 220, here we go. Yeah, it's really aggressive when pushing it down. I mean, just look at that. When pulling up, that's okay, but now look at when I'm just moving the yoke down a little bit. Here it gets really aggressive. Well, I do hope that they're going to do a little bit of improvement there on these areas for the release. But I am sure they will. After all, we gotta remember, TFDI is an experienced team, so they know their way around these aircraft. I'll flight down all the way to 3000, then we'll decelerate in level flight, and while we do that we're going to start extending our lift devices. Let's see how the airplane is actually going to feel while we do that. It is a fly-by-wire aircraft, so there are some flight computers in the background. However, it does feel, well, not completely conventional, but to a good extent. Okay, so let's extend. And flaps 15. So, adding a little bit of thrust, let's maintain those 180 knots. And then we're gonna descend 1900, turn right, heading 240, cleared ILS approach, runway 27. So pretty easy actually to maintain numbers here. Let's go idle. Glide slope is just about to start coming alive. We will start our descent here. Should intercept the ILS in a few moments. Terrain noted.
Stabilizer motion.
Okay, localizer alive. Localizer captured. Flaps 28. Okay, gear down. Flaps 35. Runway track set. Gonna level off in 1900, catch the glide slope down there.
Stabilizer motion.
So, glide slope alive. Reaching 1900. To maintain that. A little bit of thrust to maintain the speed. Looking good. B4 landing checklist. Landing gear and lights. So we've got down 4 green. Spoilers. Armed, auto brake, medium. So glide slope. Should have captured. No idea why it doesn't. Here we go, localizer capture. Okay, set go around altitude. 5,000 feet set. And that flight director didn't capture. Flight director off. Okay, complete the landing checklist. Flaps 35, altimeters 29908, cross checked. And EAD checked. Before landing checklist complete. Oh, lovely. Well, at least it came early this time.
Stabilizer motion.
$11 knots crosswind, that's the price for vacating right where we want to end up at our ramp. The click sounds you keep hearing there is when I'm hitting the trim.
500. 500.
You said that already, my friend. You also said that.
Minimum.
Checked.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Come on, nose. Down with you. Okay, spoiler, reverse green. $70 knots. Auto brake disarm. Okay, that looks like an exit for us. Okay, clear left side, clear right side. We will vacate the runway completely. Here we go. Okay, we'll just stop it here for a second. To do the after landing procedures. So, ground spoilers are retracted, slats and flaps. Going up, weather radar and transponder. Off and alt off. Okay, auto brake. Off, stabilizer trim going towards 3 units. Lights coming off, anti-ice is off, and the APU is starting. And trim set to 3 units, perfect. Okay. So, then we can start taxiing. We're parking just over there in front of the main building. So it's not gonna be too much of a taxi. I just wanted to be sure to actually have the time to do all this without having to worry about airplane control and stuff like that. Okay, after landing checklist. Spoilers retracted. Flap slats up, retracted. Weather radar and transponder off. Auto brake off, stab trim 3 units, no zap, exterior light set, anti-ice off, APU starting. After landing checklist complete. Okay, engine 2 shutdown. Okay, not this gate, but the next one has our call sign written on it. So, lights off. So, gotta go as far as forward without damaging that pole. I think this is about fine. Parking brake set, let's see if I damaged anything. Nah, that's good. Not a problem at all here. Okay, excellent. So in that case, APU power is on. 2 off, 3 off. APU bleed coming on, engines running down, below 20%, beacon off, parking checklist. Anti-ice off, hydraulic panel, auto. Fuel switches off, seatbelts off, fuel panel, auto, emergency power off. So, exterior lights off, parking brake set, and IRS to go. Okay. System display status is as expected. Parking checklist complete, and then we can turn off the IRS as well. Alright guys, that's it. Flight number 2 with the TFDI MD-11 freighter. And once again, it's been an enjoyable one. My previous feedback pretty much still stands. The airplane is coming along nicely. Of course, still has a little bit of a way to go, but that shall not be overly surprising. So overall, it's doing what it's supposed to do, and it's doing that pretty nicely. And, well, it's on a good way, I would say. I guess my previous estimate from the video a couple of days ago still stands. If they continue at this rate, then who knows, maybe by Christmas we're going to have a good first version of an airplane. Well guys, and that shall be it for today's video. I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what you think, and if you're up for more, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Finally, if you're up for more, then I would love a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again on the next one.